guys, welcome to another 1v1 Heart of the Swarm commentary. Playing as the red Protoss is going to be Pat down at the bottom of the map, and up the top right corner of the map is some complete noob Achilles playing as the green Zerg. Now, we're actually going to be doing something completely crazy today, which is on the beginning of the game, we're going to put it at ×4 speed and just blow through the beginning stages, because we're actually going to be doing 2 games. That's right, 2 games for the price of 1. So we see Pat here opening up very standard with a gateway opening blocking off the ramp. Achilles is doing a standard 15 hatch. You missed it, but he actually and then throwing down the pool to follow up. But he managed to supply block himself right off the bat and had to do the extractor trick to undo that. Sending out a scouting probe, we'll see what that does. Gateway, double gas, another gateway following up. Now, apparently, what Pat wanted to do was mind game the shit out of me, alright? So he put down these 2 gateways and robo. He didn't go full out into 3-gate robo, because that's just like you have to attack at that point. I take that back. He goes balls to the wall and puts down 3-gate robo right in my face. And now this is a 1-base play, so I actually almost made lings right here. I almost made a shit ton of lings once this larva pops. The only thing that stops me is that I remember that it's going to be physically impossible for this warp gate to finish until like 7 minutes, and it's going to be physically impossible for him to get 2 immortals out until about 9 minutes. So I don't really have to worry about anything at all until 7 and 9 minutes. So I go ahead and I just keep making drones, and I go full force with my 2-base economy. So that happened. It did almost make me make lings. The only reason I didn't was because I actually had a game recently where I made that mistake. I made a bunch of lings before any time was to come, and those lings sat around and did nothing and crippled my economy for too long. What I did do is I made 4 lings just to take map control. This is something I always do in any matchup. It just lets you poke out, see what they're doing. If they're taking a late expo, it forces them to have that stalker and zealot before they can take it. If these had been down here, would have been much easier to secure that. You could actually sit a probe here instead of a zealot, and what this allows you to do is have your units in a forward position, and a probe, if you're fast, makes a pylon really easily there. And that's a really easy way of taking control of your map. I did put down these spine crawlers because I was really worried about this 1-base push that was coming out. Push my lings back, finally taking this expo. But yeah, in general, unless you're going to do damage with this, I personally favor going Nexus first almost all the time against Zerg. Like, you have to scout if you're going to go Nexus first, but it's really important that you get that early economy out. It allows for this Phoenix Colossus build much quicker. Because you get your 4 Phoenix out, you start lifting probes, and then you have Colossus and a solid economy on the back end of this. But mind games, I'm always a fan of mind games, so I'm not gonna hate too much. Definitely not gonna hate too much. There we go. There's the Phoenix starting to produce. But as a function of our economy being delayed, we're not quite utilizing these yet, because we're just limited by our gas and minerals at the moment. Because I actually stay on 1 gateway for a long time, because what happened was gas wasn't the problem, it was actual minerals. We had the 400 gas for Thermal Lance and Colossus, we just didn't have the minerals for it. And if you subtract 2 gateways, you're able to get out about the number of gateway units that you want, but you're able to get Colossus out much faster. And Colossus help you defend your natural and third, because lings are the main threat at this point. Roaches, I mean, you can have a 2-base roach timing, but lings are the way an economical Zerg that has a third usually favors trying to deny any base, because it allows you to do it very quickly. You have a lot of mobility with that, and Colossus, really shut that down. This guy's being kind of a noob, just getting +1, doesn't have double upgrades on the way yet, but he is getting both of his Roach and Hydra upgrades. I always go for for the speed upgrades first, because it allows you to have mobility out on the map. I feel like if you go for the range upgrade first, your Hydras can't really do anything. You're stuck in your base because you can't get caught out on the map. So this +1 doesn't really do anything because you can't use it. Phoenix is moving out, hopefully going to do some harass. Let's see if he's prepared for it. Not at all prepared for Phoenix harass, so we'll see what that does. No spores at all yet. Moving up to 3 bases though. Could see I should already have 6 gas geysers because you see how my minerals are disproportional to my gas. Managing to pick off this queen, which is good. Let's see, is there a 4th Phoenix on the way? There's not a 4th Phoenix on the way. If you have 4 Phoenix, it allows you to snipe queens in 1 hit, and since you wouldn't have had to have burned those 2 lifts on the queen, just allows you to get more drone kills. Because I feel like 4 Phoenixes would have done substantially more damage. Definitely would have been worth the extra gas and minerals. Although since we had a late natural, you know, maybe makes sense to cut that corner. Maybe makes sense. Getting our Colossus on the way. Good to just, you know, keep those Colossus coming. I like that. I like that a lot. Creeps get moving out. Creeps are getting much better. Much better. But at this point, this is actually like a good time to be taking your 3rd if the Zerg is going for you know, his 3 bases as well. Because it's kind of a misnomer to say that it's okay to be a base behind Zerg, or that Zerg should always be a base ahead. Yeah, Zerg wants to be a base ahead. Protoss also wants to be a base ahead. The thing is, Zerg just gets away with it more easily. But it's not actually okay for Zerg to be a base ahead. It's just that they end up being ahead in economy longer and more often than Protoss does, or Terran. But it's a situation you want to remedy quickly. You don't want to think that you're okay on 2 bases against a 3-base Zerg. You know, maybe you have more potential to win than a 2-base Zerg does against a 3-base Protoss, but it's still not where you want to be. Not where you want to be. Because like you can see, I have these overlords watching 3rds because I'm expecting a 3rd to be taken. But the choice is, triple Robo. Okay, we really want Colossus. I mean, Colossus are a good unit, so I'm not gonna say that's a bad thing. Do we have Vipers yet? Is the question. Do we have Vipers yet? We do not have Vipers, so Colossus are a little harder to deal with without Vipers. You might ask, why not go Corruptors since those don't require Hive Tech? Well, because Infestation Pit and Hive both construct more quickly than Spire. A Spire actually ends up being only slightly faster than Vipers, and only slightly more economical. And actually it's less economical, because the initial investment is less, but you need way more Corruptors than you do Vipers. So you end up spending a lot more on Corruptors than Vipers. Furthermore, Corruptors are way easier to deal with. We have these things called Void Rays, which are just super good. You do extra damage versus armored. Stalkers do extra damage versus armored. Archons do splash damage, which rips apart Archons. Basically, Protoss has too many good options to deal with Corruptors. This particular composition is vulnerable against Corruptors, but he could very easily switch to making Stalkers, switch to making Void Rays, and it would be very hard to deal with. Whereas Vipers can just pull these from distance if Colossus go even close to your creep, and that's just much more efficient than Corruptors. Because Corruptors have this annoying tendency to, you know, be constantly in range of your army, whereas Vipers, you know, they stay at a nice safe distance. Moving on to creep, this is always what you want to do. Not just run, you know, straight forward and ignore creep, but actually beat back all the tumors. Very important to do. But right now, it's kind of that situation where, you know, it's a lot against a little. Maybe this force would have had a chance without Vipers, but with Vipers, the Colossus just aren't able to do anything. It really all comes back to that Nexus at the start being so heavily delayed. I think this would have been okay if we had done a 1-base timing, maybe not thrown down that 3rd gateway, so that we could have done a 2-gate 1 robo push, and like that would have been like not the most standard thing in the world, but it would have given the potential to do damage and then have a Nexus on the back end. And it would have delayed my third more heavily, delayed my drones, because I would have been forced to make lanes and roaches. Because I had roach tech ready, I just, never saw the need to make any, so I kept droning up. And I'm still not getting my gas under control. Still not getting my gas under control. I have far too little compared to my minerals. At this point, I just need to be more aggressive. Like I created a opportunity and I could be exploiting it more, but I'm choosing to be more passive. We're gonna speed this part of the game up just a little. Oh wait, no, action. At this point, I don't even feel like I need Vipers. I'm able to run forward, do the Zerg thing, just kind of 1A. Just kind of 1A. With Zerg, see, the lack of unit micro is far more permissible, because see, what you're doing is you're actually setting up your next wave of units in the back end. So while your units are attacking, you're actually supposed to be macroing. Otherwise, you fall behind. Let's see, we got 3-2 on the way for the Zerg. Upgrades are... I can't select anything. There we go. Upgrades are a tad bit behind for the Zerg. Kind of that a lot versus a little situation. We're finally getting a third up, but it's, kind of too little too late. Zerg's moving up to 5 bases. And 5 is in fact greater than... and this is actually 1 base at the... well, you have gas, so it counts as 2 base. It counts as 2 base, soon to be 3. Phoenix, that's good that Phoenix is still managing to be active. If you see someone going really heavy Colossus, like, 3 Robo Colossus, then Ultras just make sense. The only problem with this is it does, if it's really heavy Colossus, then, that allows for really heavy Immortal. So you have to be ready to, switch back to Roach Hydra, switch up to a muted transition. But there we go, GG. We're going to be jumping straight into the next game. I just realized I should have renamed the replay so that they wouldn't have been spoilerific, but hopefully no one was paying attention right there. Alright, down in the bottom corner of the map again is going to be our red PvZ Pat, and up in the top right corner again is going to be our green newbie Zerg Achilles. That's actually kind of weird that the spawn locations were identical. I didn't notice that at the time. And yeah, we were actually playing random, and we both spawned as the same races twice in a row, and in the exact same spawning locations twice in a row. So that's interesting. Alright, we're going to be burning through on ×4 speed again. This time, going for a much smarter opening. Dropping the Nexus, or first pylon here, basically means you're going to be going Nexus first, or Gateway Nexus, or Forge Nexus. But you want to do Nexus first, you can get away with it. You can get away with it versus a 14 pool, or a Hatch first. Hatch first most easily, obviously. And we're actually being really ballsy, and just dropping it before we even scout, which makes sense, because you can always cancel it if you spot a 10 or a 6 pool. A 10 pool should be like, well, it's going to be thrown off since this is a 3-player map, but on like a 2-person map, you roll up with your first scout, and if it's a 10 pool, it's going to be almost completed spawning pool, and if it's a 6 pool, it'll already be completed. And the response is the same for both. You just throw down Forge, Gateway, Pylon, and completely wall up. Don't leave a gap at all. If you wait with your probe and wall off at the last second with the pylon, a lot of times the lanes can actually damage down the pylon. So you have to immediately wall off and get a cannon up ASAP. Cannon takes precedence, but you still want to wall off before you even see lanes coming. Okay, so we've got our 2 Nexi up. We've got our Cybercore coming. We've got gas in production. After you throw down your Cybercore, you always want to get at least a 2nd geyser, and you can take your 3rd and 4th geysers fairly quickly. However, instead of gas, we're taking a 3rd Nexus very aggressively instead. This is, very risky. I don't think that the Zerg scouts this for a while, but we'll see when he figures that out. The safer play is just to get your gas going, so that way you can get your mothership core out ASAP, get your Robo and or Stargate up, which lets you defend this third. But the Zerg doesn't look like he's making anything but drones at the moment, so this is a good play. And I didn't make anything at drones in this way last game also, so smart to use that information. Getting the second geyser. We have, I think, enough minerals that a third geyser would be intelligent. Robo, a good follow-up. If you want to open Phoenixes, you would usually go Stargate first, but I do not remember what the opener is here. The reason for that is just because since those are your aggressive units, the things you're going to do damage with, you kind of want those out first, whereas your Immortals and Colossus are more of your defensive and late-game aggressive units, so you kind of tend to defend those. No Mothership Core. You might have noticed there wasn't a Mothership Core in the last game also. The reason you get a Mothership Core versus Zerg is because any sort of laying all in, bailing all in, or roach all in, it's essential for. You just will not hold it off without it. Like, it's not as important for holding off as it is in Terran. Like, if you don't get a Mothership Core in PvT, you're probably just going to lose half your games if you're expanding like this. Putting guys in gas is helpful also, but, you know, with time. I always do this, but I only forget to do this in my main. This really pisses me off when I forget to do it in my main. Not the supply blocks. Supply blocks are, you know, those just kind of happen. But yeah, gas is nice. What was I saying? Oh yeah, Mothership Core. In PvT, you need to, like, hold off a ton of pushes that are super common. Zerg, since it tends to be all or nothing attacks more so than like, you can't. There aren't a lot of in-between builds for Zerg. Either you're going all in. Yeah, I was really happy I saved that. What you do is, if your Overlord's under attack, you can actually morph it, and when it finishes morphing, it regenerates all of its HP, and you're able to get a ton of scouting in with it. So I see all these gateways coming down. I'm not sure. I see the Stargate. So I know it's going to be some variation of, you know, Robo Stargate. But I'm finally going to finish talking about this Mothership Core. Okay, gas would be, like, super helpful. Gas would be, like, so great right now. I'm just going to stare at this while I talk about the Mothership Core. The reason you get the Mothership Core in PvZ is because you're able to scout with it. Oh my god, you keep interrupting me with these ridiculous plays. You're taking a 4th base? I'm glad I scout this. Jesus. Anyway, you're able to scout with it in PvZ, which makes it very helpful. Like, it shows you my third timing and lets you identify all ends. So yeah, always good to get. Always good to get. And then its use in the late game is secondary, but it's an early game unit. It's an early game unit. So yeah, we're on 4 bases. We're just going nuts with the macro. But he's actually out expanding a Zerg, so that's never a fun situation to be on. Let's see. Still ahead in supply. Actually behind on drones, so that's incredibly bad. That is not great. Okay, we have gas. I am finally satisfied. We delayed our upgrades, but I mean that makes sense since we're going all this tech and we're also making a 4th base, even going up to double Robo. Double forge down here, even though we got up here. I mean, this kind of makes sense. I would just put my 2nd forge down here usually, so that way they're together. But I understand wanting to have your upgrades together. Unless we're actually just going to go triple forge and get shields, attack, and armor all at the same time. That'll be cool. Minerals and gas slightly more balanced than they were last game, but not by much. Working on 2-1. Already, like I said, I always get the movement speed upgrades first. That's the exact same thing I did last time. And this comes secondary, because this allows me to get out on the map if I want to. Like to deny this sort of crazy thing. This sort of nutso 4th base. Again, gas is important. Gas is important. Got our army well positioned. Since we want to be able to defend both our natural and our third, this is basically where you'd want to put it. I usually sit it right on top of my third anyway. I mean, that's kind of preference, because my third is usually the most vulnerable thing, whereas this is walled off. So I actually have time to respond to this, whereas I don't have time to respond to that. So I just sit my army here. So we've got roaches in position. Let's see. The dangerous thing about this third was our army can't, defend 3 places at once. So let's see what these roaches do. It looks like they're going to do a lot. I split them up so that they would attack all the workers and start doing damage to the Nexus, and then hopefully I'll focus fire at the Nexus. Army's responding, but this is actually, I don't think this is enough to deal with the roaches. The roaches, they should snipe, oh excellent, they snipe the Colossus. So that's good. They could probably just take all this, but I might choose to run away. Yeah, I kind of want to save my units. Zealots, contrary to popular belief, are not countered by roaches. They are if they're speed roaches on creep, because the roaches can kite very effectively, but a zealot one-on-one actually kills a roach. So if you don't have a concave or anything that's restricting the zealots from being able to get a surround, and these were completely in the open, like all the zealots were attacking at once, the roaches actually will not trade effectively at all. So, maybe a good decision to pull back. Maybe a good decision. Do we have double upgrades on the way? Yep, got double upgrades. Not using the third forge, but that's okay. Getting shields is a lot of gas on top of that. Double Colossus makes a lot of sense. However, I believe, yep, I'm going for Vipers again. I haven't scouted anything that would indicate that I should go anything but Vipers. A good upgrade to get when you have the resources is Charge, because right around this stage of the game, when you're starting to hit 150 supply and above, you want to have proxy pylons all up and down the sides of the map there, all up and down here. And what this does, like, you can tuck them in little corners like this, like here, warp down over here. What this allows you to do is just infinitely warp in zealots with any excess minerals. And you basically send zealot counterattacks here, go into the natural, even send stuff into the main. And this jerks the army all over the place. If the Zerg isn't really good about splitting up their forces, they're going to respond with their entire force here, and then lose their base down here. And it works really effectively. It basically gives you time to get up to 3-3. Because if you just sit at your base, what tends to happen is the Zerg pushes out creep, they get a good unit composition, and they just keep trading with your army. You don't want the Zerg to be able to keep trading with your army, because Zerg can trade far longer than Protoss or Terran can with unrestricted macro. So it cripples the macro to begin with because you're doing damage, but it also forces the Zerg to be running all over the place. Zealot warpins are hugely effective. I did not realize how light on the anti-air front this was. I should have noticed that. Like, I probably wouldn't have done anything about it because I like the Roach Hydra Viper style. I really don't like Mutacorruptor. It seems very gimmicky to me. But, it would have been an exploit. Got 2-2 on the way. That's excellent. However, we have 3-2 on the way here, so the Zerg has an upgrade lead. Which is nice, because Zerg tends to function with a reduced army size, or that's not what I wanted to see. Up, I'm all over the place. There we go, that's what I want, active force. Like, you can see, even though we're both at max supplies, the Protoss army has twice the gas, and 1,000, wait, that's actually my army. I'm actually way ahead. Okay, that's because we're super heavy in Zealots. So normally the Protoss army would be way ahead, because you have a lot of high-tech units, Void Rays, Colossus, Stalkers, Archons, but because everything's tied up in Zealots, these should actually just be sent out and start attacking every side of the map so that you can free up supply for more beefy units. Because this creep is so far out that it's going to be pretty easy to kite any Zealots after Colossus are dealt with. So let's see how this fight goes. We got our Vipers in position. Got four evolution chambers for so Vipers can use consume. Vipers coming out. Got one pull. Could have gotten a lot more pulls than that. Not sure what that was. Even if you're not pulling a Colossus very far, you can still pull it just to stop it from moving. Alright. And see, like right here, not all of the Zealots were attacking at once because they didn't really have time, so they just kind of melted one by one as they attacked. And that army melted very quickly. I didn't even have to tech switch, I'm just going to reinforce because I killed everything. Man, he is really, like, I did not realize how aggressive this guy was with bases. Like, I didn't see that he retook this, I didn't see this down here. I was kind of expecting to function on 3-base economy. So I go up here, I'm like, oh, bases. Now, what this force should have done is just snipe this, but instead I just ran away from the cannons and I was afraid of any warp-ins and units being rallied down here. So that was a bit of an error right there. Because warp-ins probably could have killed this, but it would have been worth it to snipe the Nexus. Unfortunately, it wouldn't have been entirely worth it because the probes could have come down here, and I didn't even know about this. I don't know if I ever scout this, actually. We'll find out. We'll find out. Got our Colossus count back up as a function of, oh my god, the tuple rover production. Alright, this is slightly vulnerable to a, I was wondering how you got so many Colossus up so fast. I didn't think I was that slow. I also was really confused as to how this Immortal switch was as effective as it was, and it's because you're on 5 Robos. That's insane. It's actually exactly what you want to do in the late game, is throw down Ultras completely chewing up Zealots, Cannons, and Colossus. None of those things handle Colossus at all. Immortals, on the other hand, will handle quite well. But throwing down these extra production facilities is exactly what you want to do. I don't think it's a good idea to put them all in one tech path. Like, I think it's good to have, 3 Stargates, 3 Robos. Make sure you have. Do we have Templar? You definitely want to have Templar. I usually throw down both sets of Templar because I like having both, but it's not something that's all that essential. So yeah, Immortals still beat Archon or Ultras. I hope I'm not making more Ultras. Oh yeah, this is what I did. I thought I had a lot more larva, so I actually tried to max out on Lings, because Immortals are going to lose to Lings, and this number of Colossus without support also died to Lings. So I rallied all these Lings in because I have the upgrades, and I actually managed to attack right before Adrenal Glands finish, and without as many Lings as I had. I was only at 120 supply. I thought I was going to be at 200. If I had the larva for that, that would have been exactly what I wanted to do, but I didn't have nearly enough larva. It also would have helped if I hadn't attacked right before upgrades finished. That was like the last time that I wanted to attack, but oh well. I wonder why that did so poorly, because I mean, adrenal glands are a good unit. So I'm like, okay, this is an issue. We've got a whole bunch of stuff that kills ground. So we should really, I tried making roaches, I don't even know why. Roach is not exactly the best unit versus Immortals, but I was thinking more in terms of the Colossus, because like I just made, Lings to counter the Colossus, so Roaches to counter the, or I just made Lings to counter the Immortals, so I wanted Roaches to counter the Colossus. Okay. Things are looking slightly worse for wear. We've got, a backup force of Hydras. I finally throw down a Spire. I was making the same mistake that's over here, everything in one tech path. All of my tech was, ground based. I didn't have Spire. I didn't even, should have had like double Spire with greater Spire and, at least a couple upgrades. That would have been really good. But yeah, at this point, let's see if I can get Mutas out. Mutas would still wreck this, because, 6 Stalkers not going to be much good against anything. More Stalkers coming out, which is smart. Stalker's good unit. Finally sniping this hatch. Oh, why am I upset? Yeah, I need this base badly. I don't want to lose my Spire tech. Really don't want to lose my Spire tech. Almost there. Almost there. So I managed to take out this base and that base. I thought I had them, completely mined out. I didn't know about this base though. Oh, wait, we missed it. Okay. All right. Let's fast forward a little bit. Fast forward. Right as this finishes. Only 23? That's all the mutas I have on the way? I thought I had way more. I thought I had like 50. I had the money for 50. Oh, I was so mad. Look at that. The Colossus, they're taking out everything before they even spawn. Oh, I was so upset. So upset. GG. Well played. That was a good game though. The Ultra, the Mega Robo facilities made it really easy to tech switch as I tech switched, which is exactly what Toss wants to be able to do. They want to be able to make Archons if you go Mutas. They want to be able to make Immortals if you go Ultralist. They'll never be quite as fast as Zerg is, but they're able to at least keep up to an extent and just turtle for a bit and then respond with units. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed that. See you next time.